Good morning, everyone. So, in today's class, we are going to start with the internal landforms. Okay. Now, external forces are those forces which are above the Earth's surface, and these forces they create a lot of landform also. Mainly, these forces are in the shape of three things, that is, weathering, erosion, and deposition. Now, what is weathering? Weathering is the breaking up or decaying of the rocks. Okay, breaking up due to any kind of forces. When the rocks break up and decay, they change their shape. That is called as a weathering. Okay. The second force, external force, is erosion. Erosion is that due to the pressure of agents like water or glacier or wind, certain things have been taken away from one place and is transported to another place. That is called as erosion. Deposition is when transportation is done, then certain things are deposited somewhere. Okay, that is called as deposition. Okay, so these are the three forces which are actually helping changing the landform. Now, if we have three forces, then we have four kind of landform also. The first is riverine landform. The riverine landform are those landform which is created by the way of a river. Okay. In this diagram, you can see that the point from where a river originate, that is called as the source of the river. And the point where it ends, that is called as the mouth of the river. This whole course has been divided into three parts: the upper course, middle course, and lower course. Now we are going to read about all these three courses and what kind of landform they are creating in the next thing. Now, what is the upper course of a river? Upper course of a river is a point, from which a river is originating. It is generally an area which is very much elevated, and that is why, because the river is coming from a very high point and it is coming down, the pressure of the water is very much. Okay, the pressure of the water is very much. Yes. And because the pressure of the water is very much, it will do the work of mainly erosion only. Okay, in the upper course the river do the work of erosion only. Now, because it is eroding, so it will take a shape of eye-shaped valleys, because it is moving in a very fast manner. That is why it will create eye-shaped valleys, which is called as gorges also and canyons also. That is the first landform which is in the upper course. Second landform is waterfall. What is a waterfall? You can see in this diagram, when the water is falling, the river is falling from a very high altitude and towards the soft rocks, then the soft rocks will keep on decaying and it will take a very great height and it will take a shape of a waterfall. So this is waterfall. Then we have rapids. When the river is flowing over the hard rocks, then the soft rock, then the hard rocks, then they jump. That is called as the jumping of the water, like this is called as rapids. So all these landforms are created in the upper course of a river. Then we have middle course of a river. A middle course of a river is one in which the river is somehow fast also and somewhere it is slow also. Now it has reached into some kind of a plain area. Now here you will see V-shaped kind of valleys, because now the flow of water is little less, so it will be not as steep as in the upper course, so it will be making V-shaped kind of a valleys. Another kind of landform which you will see in middle course of the river is the meander. Sometimes the river flows in a kind of a loops like this. This is called a meander. Meander also you will see in middle course. Sometimes when the rainfall is happening and the level of water is very rise, so sometimes the river crosses the banks of the river and it creates floods into the nearby areas, so the area becomes little floody, so that is called as a floodplain. These flood are actually deposits the silt in near the bank of the river and it creates a kind of a wall which is called as a levee. So these are the landform which is created into the middle course of a river. Then lower course of a river. Now because the river has reached into a very plain area, so it will do the work of deposition only. Okay. So here you will find, these kind of oxbow lake. When the river is flowing into meander, these meanders, when they reach into the plain area and the flow of river becomes very less, then they starts to flow into a direct manner. Here sandbars are formed and this loop becomes separated from the meander, and this shape is called as a oxbow lake, which you will see in the lower course of a river. Now the water flow is very less. Sometimes the river divides into distributaries. These are called as distributaries, and they take a shape of a triangle, which is called as an delta. So delta also you will see when the river reaches into the lower course of a river. Then estuary. Sometimes what happen is that a river, when it is reaching the mouth of a river mouth, and sometimes there is a sea over here, and by the pressure of tides, this sea water mixes with the fresh water of the river. Now this point from where the salty water mixes with the fresh water, it is called an estuary. Okay, estuaries are also formed when the river is about to end, or you can say it is about to near a mouth. Then second kind of a agent is the glacial landform. The glaciers. What are glaciers? When the snow falls down from the mountains and due to the change in temperature, a river of ice is formed, which is called a glacier. Now glaciers are very huge, so wherever they are moving, they will carve some landforms. They will create first of all U-shaped kind of valleys, because they will erode the sides and the bed also. Sometimes the glacier falls down and it takes like this kind of a shape, which is called as a corrie. And sometimes the water fills over here, and this is called as a corrie lake. After the glacial landform, you will find the wind landform. Wind landform, as you can suggest, you will see these kind of landform into a desert only. Okay, into a desert region where there is a dry wind flowing, so it will create wind landform. So here you will find mushroom rocks. Mushroom rocks are huge rocks, which actually by the pressure of wind they start on eroding from these sides, and that is why it will take a shape of a mushroom, so it is called as a mushroom rock. Sand dunes you will also form by the pressure of the wind into the desert area only. Then when due to the pressure of wind, sometimes the wind is eroded to a very far of a places and it takes a shape of a landform, it is called as a less. You will also find oasis into the wind into the desert area. What is an oasis? When the wind erodes the layer of sands onto a particular area, then the underwater water comes up and it takes a shape of a oasis. So all these kind of a landform you will see into the desert regions only. And the last kind of a landform is the marine landform. Marine landforms, or these kind of landform you will find into the coastal area. When this is a coastal area and due to the pressure of tides and waves, many landforms are created. For example, these kind of cliffs are created. This is originally like this, but due to the pressure of water, they keeps on eroding this part and it will take a shape of a terrace, which is called as a wave cut terrace. By the pressure of water, sometimes caves are also created. Sometimes you will find arches is like this, kind of a gates. Sometimes due to the more pressure of the water, this thing has been eroded, only these pillars are left, which is called as stacks. Sometimes these stacks, this part is also eroded, only small pillars are left, this is called as stumps. Beaches are also formed by the forces of water only, and you can see the lagoons also. We have read lagoons about also. Sandbars are created, and the lagoons and water backwaters created, like we can see in Kerala also. So this is about marine landform. By marine landform, we have ended this chapter. So thank you so much.